Hi, I'm Chewbacca.
And I'm Mr. Potato Head.
Together, we're the representatives of the 2009 Essential Class Action Learning Team on Green Energy. Let me say that we are honored to give our gift of speech to such a special cause. Green energy is a very large topic, so we first set out to educate ourselves on it, didn't we, Mr. Potato Head?
Yes.
The first thing we did was we met with Chris Kirksey, a former executive at Austin Energy, who spent an evening with us, helping us understand some of the issues presented to Central Texas. It was illuminating. From there, we worked together to narrow the topic to what is the value of green energy.
We then recognized that the next challenge was to learn how to conduct a dialogue. From there, it was an easy decision to do our first dialogue amongst ourselves, because we still really didn't know what a dialogue was.
Welcome to dialogue number 1.
You may not speak unless you have the talking stick.
The question for tonight is, what is the value of green energy?
Blah blah, blah blah gas. Blah blah, blah blah oil.
Blah, 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 blah. I disagree.
Blah, 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 wind.
Blah, 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 conservation. You were not supposed to speak without the talking stick.
Blah, blah, blah. Nuclear.
I disagree.
Good times. From our first dialogue, we learned that the topic was vast,
Kind of like outer space.
and that we wanted to do more to focus the discussion. Among other things, we decided to give some ground rules to the dialogue to avoid unnecessary tangents like, what is green energy? And to limit the scope to its impact on Central Texas.
Examples of questions we formed for the next dialogue were, should we... Damn it. Sorry, I lost my place.
Ooh,
I was
right.
trying-
Good times. From our first dialogue, we learned that the topic was vast,
Kind of like space.
and that we wanted to do more to focus the discussion. Among other things, we decided to give some ground rules to the dialogue to avoid unnecessary tangents like, what is green energy? And to limit the scope to its impact on Central Texas.
Examples of questions we formed for the next dialogue were, should green energy be assessed just like any other energy source, or should it be subject to special rules? And if so, what rules?
And also, what is the role of government in green energy?
From there, we were off to dialogue number 2 with experts in green energy and conservation. We happened to select a large number of experts in wind, including one who was against it.
Welcome to dialogue number 2. What is the value of green energy in Central Texas?
Hey everyone, I brought an anti-wind DVD I'd like to show you.
Well, I don't want to watch your anti-green energy DVD. That's not what I came here for.
Well, I'm not like the rest of you rich lobbyists.
I work for a green nonprofit, and I've been working there since the 1970s. So I've met a lot of folks like you. Well, that was interesting. We learned a lot about facilitating productive dialogues, staying above the line, asking neutral questions, and the fine line that a facilitator must walk between stifling discussion and avoiding unproductive conflict.
For our third dialogue, we brought in a more diverse group of stakeholders, including a member of the general public, to see what would occur when people with various professional lives got together to talk about their views.
In this dialogue, there tended to be tremendous agreement amongst the participants on the value of green energy. Interestingly, the experts did not dominate the discussion. It was sort of like the celebration of the Ewoks at the end of the Return of the Jedi. You remember that? High five! High five! High five! Oh, high five! High five!
Yeah.
Welcome to Dialogue 3. Our question today, what is the value of green energy in Central Texas?
It's priceless.
I agree. Good idea.
I feel the same way.
Ditto. Me too.
Now we're all a little bit wiser, like my friend Yoda.
Teamwork we have used, and now we are all wise, like me.
What I learned is just as Batman brings all the right tools on his utility belt, you have to bring all the right tools to the dialogue.
You do not need to be an expert on the topic to lead a dialogue. Let the force of leadership guide you.
I learned to tap into my team's networking web.
I have learned that a successful dialogue requires active listening.
Because of all of my magic powers, I tend to want to work alone. But I learned that collaboration is key and essential.
As a facilitator, I learned how to solve conflict.
If it's possible, my skill set is even stronger now.
This is serious. We're not too big and we're not too tough, but when we work together, we've got the right stuff. Go Alt Learning Team!
It is all about the process.
And in the end, they all dialogued happily ever after.
Still on, right?
It went to